So in our seated position, let's close our eyes and start to sense the body doing its work without your effort. Let's focus today on, what we're observing now, or watching the body just kind of do its work. And it's doing its work without us straining to make that work happen. So there's this sense of kind of just going along with it without this like inner tension or this inner trying, this like extra effort. Because usually that results in straining. So see, while you're here, if you can start to relax the throat a little bit more intentionally. I know right now I need to, this early in the morning especially, just going in and relaxing internally, relaxing the throat. Like, see if you could relax the eyes, like, but from the inside rather than from the surface. And go to the brain and see if you can relax the brain. Again, let's work from the inside, like the center of the brain, working our way out. Go to the sinuses and see if you can relax the channels of the sinuses. Go to the inner channels of the ears and relax them. Work your way out. Go back down into the throat, relaxing the throat and working our way down. Like, relax the esophagus. And relax the larynx. And let's start to relax the lungs. And all the tubes that connect to the lungs. Relax the heart. Again, try to work from the center out. It's a matter sometimes of our imagination, which is more powerful than we realize. And then just go through and start to relax the organs in the trunk. And go towards the belly, the abdomen. Maybe just relax everything all at once there. And then you might notice that you just start to take deeper breaths naturally just by mentally relaxing certain areas of the body. And if that hasn't begun naturally, then just encourage it now. Start to take deeper breaths. Maybe you keep the lips slightly open and breathe in and out through the mouth and the nose at the same time. And let's chant Om 3 times. So make sure that breath is deep. Make sure you started to engage the diaphragm. And that way we can, empty out the lungs completely. And then take a deep breath in. Okay, let's start practice on the back, where we'll bring the knees into the chest. It's funny that this early in the morning, it's not that early, but it's early for me to use my voice. So, get these little voice crackles here and there. And that's okay, that's part of warming up those areas that have been asleep, right? So once we've got the arms around, we can sway a little side to side. And let's start to move the feet a bit. So we can flex and point the feet while we're rocking a little bit. And check in, maybe you can move the head side to side and experiment. If I move the head in the other direction of the hips, I start to sense a little bit of opening. It's a very, very gentle twisting action. And quite shallow, not too deep yet. And then what we're going to do is roll all the way to the right side and bring the right arm underneath the head. And take the left hand to the left ankle and draw the knee forward so that we're stretching the left thigh. And then we're going to come right out of it. And then we're going to roll to center and then roll to the other side, pillowing the head with the left arm, grabbing a hold of the right foot with the right hand. Knee goes forward and then we come out of it. And we're just going to switch back and forth a few times like that at your pace. Just rolling to one side, stretching that top thigh, taking the knee forward, setting the legs on top of each other, and then just switching. So let's go for maybe a minute, breathing deeply and consistently. Every inhalation matching every inhalation, every exhalation matching every exhale. So that means that as long as every inhalation is the same and every exhalation is the same, you're good, right? Now, I like to do even inhale to even exhale because it helps with a sense of even-mindedness. But if you're trying to lift your energy, then you take a longer inhalation. If you're trying to relax, you take a longer exhalation. A little bit longer. And then we'll take one more on the left side. And then meet right in the center with the legs directly up. And, we can start to sense as we try to extend the legs, some tightness in the back of the legs. Of course, it depends on how much activity you've already done today. So just some gentle movement with the feet, flexing and pointing. And then let's take a hold of the knees and give them another big squeeze and lift the head up. Drawing the knees a little closer. Okay, big transition to a downward facing dog with a block close by. So make sure that you have it close. You can grab it on the way there. We're going to be resting the head on the block. So whenever you're ready, roll over the toes, lift the knees, take the hips back, and then forehead comes down to the block. Knees can bend, so the tailbone can shift upwards. Of course, a block isn't necessary, but it does help when we're here a little longer just to have that extra support holding, this heavy part of the body. But 3 more deep breaths. And we'll be stepping the feet to the edges of the mat and forward towards the hands. So we're coming into a little bit of a wider leg forward fold. And then we have the block. So we can come up halfway and just lengthen, just having hands right to the block, maybe lifting the head a little bit. Let's bend the knees. And if you bend the knees and you have a little space, maybe you can lower the block to its lower height. If you feel a little bit release, you can go a little deeper. Get a nice little bend in the knees, so keeping the tailbone shifting upwards as best as you can, almost like you were still in that downward facing dog. And then we'll go into a little bit of a twist from here. So we'll bend the left knee more deeply. Keep the right leg straight, so we'll start to extend it. Bring the left palm right to the center here, under the chest, and then we'll pick up the right arm. Now let's actually take some motion with the right arm. So maybe some waves, or maybe some circles, if that feels good to you. And then eventually keeping that right arm risen, you press back into the right hip and you send the crown of the head forward as you're twisting the neck. Now we're going to move the neck. So let's take the head left and right a few times. And then we'll look down at the left hand as the right arm is still risen. Keep pressing into the right hip. Keep sending the crown of the head forward. And exhale, lower the right hand down. Straighten both of the legs for a moment. Just feel what it's like now. Then we can bend the knees and then just give a little bit of a lift to the head like we did before. The hands down on the block. And we'll work with the other side. So let's centralize the right hand. Bend the right knee as you straighten up the left leg. And then take that left arm up. And again, some motion in that left arm. And then we'll keep the left arm risen. So we're sending the left hip back, crown of the head forward, the nose upward. Tucking the left shoulder blade in. And then let's look down at the right hand. And we'll exhale, left hand down. Let's fold here. See, maybe we can get a little bit deeper than we were able to before, maybe with straight legs. Maybe bend. About 5 more deep breaths. Maybe this is a good time for you to let the head go and look right past the knees. I think today's a good day for a supported squat since we have our blocks close by, or blankets, whatever works for you. So let's just start to prepare ourselves for that. You might need 2 blocks. I like to always just start with a little bit more and then lessen them as I go. So if you've got 2 blocks, then you'll go ahead and just situate them so that you can bend the knees and then come to seated right on the blocks. And if that's still not high enough, then you don't have to use the blocks, or maybe you can stack some other things around. Just make sure you're stable. So just like we're in a seat, and we'll take the elbows to the inner legs, maybe the knees. Bring the palms together. It's really easy to over round the shoulders here. So take the shoulders back and then lift the chin a little bit. So more like not upwards, but rather than down. Just bring the head so that it's neutral. So now we'll go ahead and push in a few times. Push the elbows and legs into each other. Do this on the inhalation. On the exhalation, just pry the knees open. Inhale, pressing in. Exhale, pry them open. Inhaling. And exhaling. And then we can keep opening. It's too low. Keep opening the knees. Keep lifting the heart. Maybe even draw the chin in a little bit. And again, if hips are up, that's okay too. And we'll start to come out of this, bringing the hands down, lifting the hips up. We'll come up halfway and lengthen the spine as we bring hands to the hips. Keep the hands right there. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And then we'll step the feet so that they're closer together, hips distance apart. Let's take a few half sun salutations. It's just nice to warm up through the body. So feet hips distance apart. Inhale, reach the arms up, looking upwards. We'll take a side bend. So exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, come to center, look upwards. Exhale, arms can come out as you fold forward. Release the head. Inhale, come up halfway, and we'll take the arms out to the sides as we rise up halfway and lift the head. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale all the way up to standing. Arms can come out to the sides to kind of lift you, reaching up. And we'll go right into, we'll bring palms together. It always feels good to bring the thumbs back into the heart center. And we'll begin again, inhaling, reaching. Exhale, bending. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway, arms out. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bending right. Inhaling center. Exhaling left. Inhaling center. Let's go a couple more rounds. Now feet can also be touching. I like to have my feet touching here, but you can have the heels apart if it bothers you to press the ankles into each other. And we'll be going through one more. And then we'll meet standing tall with hands pressed together and thumbs in towards the heart center. Now, if we can close the eyes while you're here and just really sense the feet. Notice when the eyes are closed how the weight kind of shifts in ways that we don't realize. Now open the eyes and just notice, keep your attention on the feet and notice, is the weight still shifting in the same way, or does it feel more continuous where it's drawing into the feet? And then close the eyes again and notice if that changes things. Very simple act of balancing here. And then open the eyes and again notice if the points are changing in the feet. Where are you holding the weight? Okay, let's close the eyes. And then let's see if we can, with the eyes closed, step the left foot back and come into a warrior A. Again, see if you can keep the eyes closed the whole time. I know I feel like, oh, I have to open my eyes to get there safely. But hopefully we're able to keep the eyes closed. And then we'll take the arms and reach them up. Right knee is lunging, arms are extending up. Back heel is pressed down. And right knee sending forward. Maybe we could separate the feet. Maybe we can keep the eyes closed. And as you're here, take the arms slightly back and roll the shoulder blades down the back. Notice how the weight distribution keeps like shifting a little bit, trying to keep it even between the two feet. Now we're going to turn this into a twisting dragonfly. So if you'd like to keep the eyes closed, we'll start to bring the hands down and then take the left foot slightly back so you can get into a lower lunge and lift the back heel. Plant the left palm down. Inhale, lift the right arm up. One more breath. Exhale the right hand down. Step the left foot forward coming into forward fold. And we're going to start to rise, so we can come up halfway, bring the hands to the hips, rise all the way up. We'll reach the arms up on the next inhale. Bring palms together, thumbs in towards the chest. Okay, so eyes closed, again, sensing the feet. And shifting the weight to the right leg so that we can, the left leg, sorry. So we can step the right foot back. And then plant that back heel. Might be really easy for you to keep the eyes closed, or you might sense a little bit of a newer experience. And then when you're ready, take those arms up. Arms slightly back, shoulder blades down. Another breath or two. You're pressing into the feet to hold the body here. When the eyes are closed, you can really tell what's happening in that lower part of the body. And then we'll go ahead and bring the hands down. Maybe eyes stay closed. Step the right foot back so you can keep the heel lifted, coming into lower lunge so that the right palm can plant down. Although maybe a block is easier. And then we'll take the left arm up. Just notice the activity of the left leg. Much easier to notice when the eyes are closed. One more breath. I'll exhale the left hand down. Step the right foot up. The legs. Fold over them for about 3 breaths. And we're going to come up halfway, bring the hands to the hips, and then rising all the way up to standing with a flat back. So we're going to go into a little balancing based on what we were doing lying on our sides. If you like to find a wall or a chair, couch, something, just in case you're going to need it. So we'll be holding the right foot with the right hand to start. So that would mean left side of the body, close to something in case you need it. But let's try to not sink into the left hip wherever you are. So if you're in standing without support, then left hand to left hip. Now we'll just start to shift over to the left leg and engage the left thigh. Then pick up the right foot and hold the right foot with the right hand. Take the right shoulder, and send it back. Lower it down. Pull the pelvis in. Maybe take the left arm up, and you could still do that even if you're by a wall, all right? And the left arm will just be up a little higher. Draw the chin in slightly. Send the crown of the head upwards. Get as tall as you can here. Now, if you'd like to take this into a dancer posture, you can. I'm going to stay right here and focus on that right thigh and the right hip flexor. Hey, why don't we go into a single-legged chair posture while we're here and while we're close to something for support? So we can take the left hand to the left hip if we're without support. And then either way, release the right foot and bring that right foot on top of the left thigh. You'll start to bend the left knee and flex the right foot. And maybe the palms come together, the thumbs in towards the heart center. I prefer this, although if you want to get a little bit more challenged, you can take those arms upwards and get a lot of activity in the back. That's probably why I don't like it. I'll take a couple more breaths. And we'll start to come out of this, pressing into the left foot to straighten and then set the right foot down. And then let's just see, move the legs around a little bit. Let's go into the other side. So hands to hips. Engage that right leg, right thigh, right glute. Shift to the right leg without collapsing into the hip, right? And then pick up the left foot and hold the left foot with the left hand. Again, that left shoulder can go forward so you can see what we don't want to do. And also just experience the opposite and then take that left shoulder back. Going into that opposite direction often helps the direction in which we do want to go. Pulling the pelvis in. And maybe taking the right arm up. Maybe going further than this if it feels right to you. Making sure that the chin is in slightly and not jutting forward. Another breath or so. Okay, so we'll start to shift over to that single-legged chair. So releasing the left foot to bring it on top of the right thigh, which we can now start to bend that leg and sink down, and then flexing the left foot, lifting the chest. Maybe hands together, thumbs to heart center, good for balance, or maybe arms up. Now we were practicing a moment ago with the eyes closed. If you want to play around with that, you can. Or you can lock your eyes on something that isn't moving and try to kind of mirror it. We do that at the park with the blade of grass. The blade of grass is moving, but then the root isn't. Another deep breath. Pressing into the right foot to rise and release the leg. Whew. Okay, losing my balance today. Let's take the legs and spread them out and make sure you've got the blocks close by. So we're going to be along the mat. And I want to kind of bring the back in a little bit and the arms. So let's take the arms and reach them up. We have the toes maybe facing out. Let's face them out actually. And then keep the legs straight from them and just start to bend the elbows, bringing them out to the sides and pressing the arms back. And then we'll do this again, inhaling arms up, exhaling, bending, a couple more. And this time, bend the elbows and bend the knees. We're going to go into a side bend from here. So we'll start to lower the left hand or left forearm to the left thigh and then begin to straighten the right arm. We could take it directly up first and then up and over to the left. Now start to turn the heart upward. And we'll start to rise. Come back to bent elbows and take the right hand or forearm to the right thigh, left arm directly up, straightening, and then up and over, palm facing down. We didn't do it on the other side, but maybe pick up the head, look past the left hand. And then we'll inhale, rise up to center. We'll keep the knees and the elbows bent just to sink in for a deep breath. And then press into the feet to rise, take the arms up. You can turn the toes to face the side of the mat now. And then let's find eagle arms, crossing one arm in front of the other. So elbows are hopefully close to each other, but if far, that's okay. See what you can do, maybe pressing tops of the hands towards each other or into each other or palms into each other. Then take the elbows forward and up. We'll start to bend the elbows and then begin to fold as we lower. Trying to take hands away from the head, but they can't go far because the arms are locked. Maybe letting the head go. And maybe a little bit of a sway here. Okay, we'll put a bend in the knees to unroll the spine. Head rises last. Unwind the arms. Notice which elbow is closer to the chest so we can switch. Take the arms up and then switch arms, wrap around, elbows forward and up. Bend the knees and lower. Maybe a little sway here as well. Bending the knees, unrolling the spine. Unwinding the arms, reaching them up. And then we can bring hands together and lower them. Release the arms. Now we're going to find a wide leg, downward facing dog. And you can play around and support the head like we did before, or you can use two hands on blocks. So we'll go ahead and just bring hands to hips first. Inhale, lift the heart, find a little back bend. Exhale, fold. Take the hands down and then walk them forward. And again, maybe on blocks. We'll take the hips back, reaching the tailbone back away from the crown of the head, away from the fingers. And since we'll be here just for, at least a minute, we can experiment. Maybe try with blocks and hands, and then maybe try with forehead to just the block. So we have most of the weight really is on the feet in this one. So if you have head to block, you totally release the hands and you'll be good. But we want to find that extension too in the arms. So let's take a few more deep breaths. And keep pressing the hips back, the tailbone up as best as you can. And what we're going to do in a couple breaths is just transition right into a table facing the front of the mat. So when you're ready, you can bring hands down and then bring the knees down, however you get there, shifting to table and moving through cat-cow, belly relaxing on the breath in, engaging on the breath out. Let's come back to that mood of kind of just going with that flowing spine. Just going with the motion of the body. Without any strain. And then one more time in cow, belly sunken. And then we'll come to cat and start to find our way to a child's posture. So lowering the hips, sending the heart down, the head down. Maybe keep the knees together and then bring the head to a block if it doesn't find the mat comfortably. Couple more breaths. And we're going to walk over to the right. Keeping the arms fairly parallel to each other. We'll walk over to the left. And we're going to come back to center. And then rise up to table and then come all the way down to the belly. Let's find a bit of a back bend here. So we'll bring the hands down under the shoulders. Bring the forehead down. Bring the heels together as best as you can. Engage the legs. And then begin to lift the head and the arms, keeping the elbows close in towards the waist. Maybe also lift the feet, but it depends on how hard that surface is below you. Sometimes it helps to put a pillow right around the hips or a blanket. But we won't be here too long, so we don't need to lift the legs if it doesn't work out. And we'll exhale, lower down. Take a breath. And again, lifting. And lowering. Breath. And lifting. press your way back up. Come into child's posture. Lower the hips. And rise up to table and switch over to seated. Crossing the ankles maybe. Coming to seated, let's move the shoulders a little bit. All right, let's take a little twist to the right. So left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Get tall and turn. Next inhale, come to center. Exhale, twisting left, right hand to left knee. Get tall and turn. We'll come to center. Deeper twist, left leg extends, right foot planting. Maybe you draw the foot real close and then that right hip lifts. And then you take a twist, holding this right leg in place as you turn to the right with the left arm. It's one option, but of course, you know, a few different options. So take the one that feels right to you. Arm can be hugging or it could be crossed over to the opposite side of the thigh. Flexing the left foot. And we'll come to center, switching legs. What we'll do is keep the legs like this. Come to center. So the foot, right foot, draw it in a little closer so you're mostly on this right hip. And then start to fold into the right leg, bringing the hands maybe to the back of the thigh or towards the calf, or if you can get to the foot. And just like a little bit of an uncomfortable forward fold. Breath or two. We'll come up and then just lower the left thigh down and then fold right back into the right leg. Maybe you find your length first. Maybe you let the head go and maybe you round completely. And even though we won't be here too long, maybe even rest the head on a block, which you can bring to the leg to help elevate. Maybe even just release the arms, just let them hang there. And we'll start to rise. Switch legs. Now the first thing that we're doing that was planting this right foot, rolling a bit to the left sitting bone, and then folding into the left leg. It's hard to go very far with the right leg right in the middle. And we'll rise and release the right thigh, foot to the left thigh, folding into the left leg. Again, maybe utilize a block to the forehead. Breath or two. And then we'll rise up. Cross the ankles. Let's work with the neck, and then we'll rest. Here you might want to take hands behind and release fingers and just take the shoulders back. So we didn't do a lot of chest opening things, but maybe when you're done or through the day, you do some more to open up this area to kind of round everything out. So let's take the hands and fold them into each other and move the shoulders into circles. And then we'll bring the head to center, release the shoulders back and down, turn the head left and right a few times. And then come to center, down and up a few times. Head to center, right ear up. So the front of our necks get so tight, sometimes we have no idea that they are creating upper back problems and other issues. So keeping in mind the front of the neck needing to stretch, let's take the head to center, lift the left ear up. And so we'll just do the shortcut for that area. We'll bring the head to center, move the head a little bit, cross the wrists, bring the fingers right to the right above the clavicle to that base of that long muscle, pushing into that muscle, and then lifting the head up. It will sting. And we'll bring the head to center. And then we're going to lower all the way down to the back, where you'll take your final posture or two. Getting in a reclining pigeon might be good, getting in a back bend or a simple spinal twist. But we'll take a minute to go through and do the thing that you feel would help you. And then starting to make your way to releasing the body completely. And then what we did earlier when we started our practice, it would be good to do now too. So once you have released the motion of the limbs and the head, then go inside and let's work from the feet up actually towards the brain. So starting to relax internally. And you can even start to relax, think about the liquids flowing in your body or the tissues flowing, or the tissues in the body, and kind of relax the tissues so you can see the liquid that needs to move through move better. You can let the energy itself move better through. So once you get your way up to where the organs are located, start to, again, begin at the center of the organs that you can imagine. Even if you can't imagine them exactly, like in a picture book, just like they're there, and let them begin to relax from the inside out. Maybe even to the point where you feel the skin tissue relaxing, and then just continue to go up. So towards the chest, working there. And then eventually letting the arms relax, the hands, fingers, work your way up to the throat as we did before, internally relaxing all those tubes that lead up to the mouth and the nose, so that we can breathe, so that we can communicate. And then going up to those other channels in the head so that we can hear. And completing that process up in the brain. And then let your awareness rest right in that space between the eyebrows. Space between the eyebrows, the third eye. Just resting there as you let go completely. Slowly become aware of that space again between the eyebrows. And see if you can sense your body breathing in that space. Just a matter of taking your awareness there and really paying attention to that space. And then beginning to feel the breath moving in and out of the body. And slowly Slowly bringing movement back into the hands and the feet. And maybe stretching the arms behind and finding length. And hopefully feeling a sense of openness, a sense of inner freedom, and even, specifically a physical freedom that you've created with your practice today. And then bringing the knees in, arms around the knees. But of course, that deeper freedom that we start to experience with this practice is what really pays off, if we can say that. So we'll start to maybe roll a little bit or rock until we come up to a seated position. To come to a tall seat. We can bring the arms up as we inhale, find the palms together, thumbs in towards the chest. And so we are in this place that is completely away from any strain, right? Any internal pressure or tension that we create ourselves. So just feeling that openness, feeling that sense of freedom, that sense of no strain, no difficulty, no hard effort. It was a gentle effort. Now let's take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. And then we'll take a deep breath in to sound Om. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.